Alright, so this video is intended, hopefully, for the education of my fellow countrymen. Although the majority of us are not likely to ever encounter this, and the chances of invasion of the United States are next to nothing. I suppose next to nothing is still only next to nothing. China is very much trying to flex right now. The United States, Russia, all trying to flex. Well, how long is it going to take before one stops flexing? I don't like none of this violence. The picture on the front of this is the rpg-22, and it's a little bit different. The video itself, they show you how to disassemble the warhead, as well as how to take out the auto-destruct mechanism. There's 3 pins in there. 2 of them look exactly the same. They both have springs on them. There's a 3rd one on there. It does not have a spring. And that one is the one that you're going to be taking out of there so that it doesn't self-destruct at 970 meters. The Ukrainians are doing this depending on what they're wanting to do with it. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll sight it in against an area someone might come through on foot, and then they will fire it from exactly 970 yards from that position as soon as someone gets to that position. One of the ways they do this is to mark out paint. They'll paint an obstacle, but only on the side facing them. That way, only the people with the rpg7 see that that marker is there, and any unsuspecting Russian soldier is going to get pegged. Bad. The United States now makes an rpg7 version. Theirs is called psrl1. And one of the important things about this is that we got a few Americans who are going over to Ukraine, talking about how much it sucked. We got a few of them that are going back. We got a few more people who are wanting to go. There'll be some Americans here who are, what the hell? I think I turned right when I did. I'd rather not have collision this time of night. Anyway, the videos I hope will end up in the comment section, or links to those videos hopefully will be of the PSRL, the rpg7, rpg-22. There's a few of them that the Swedish made that are actually very useful. Also, I highly recommend looking up Carl Gustav, because anything that he designed is probably still in today. When it comes to any insurgency troops or any former communist bloc countries or anything of that nature, having an American-made rpg7 launcher allows Americans to utilize Russian doctrine as well as LRRP doctrine, that's long-range reconnaissance patrol, going back to Vietnam, as well as the United States Navy SEALs during Vietnam. A lot of times what they'd do is they'd carry an AK-47 that's Russian made, and when they were getting any enemy fire shooting at them, they'd pull out the AK and they'd fire off a couple of rat-a-tats out of that thing, and it would confuse the enemy into possibly believing it's friendly fire. As far as the doctrine goes for Russians, they basically wanted to be able to fire anything that we could fire out of their stuff if it was a pinch or if it was absolutely necessary and there was nothing else they could use. But Americans like to have tight tolerances, and a lot of times what Russia would do is they'd wait till we made something, and then they would design something that was just a smidgen bigger or a smidgen smaller. Just enough where the variants and the tolerances are going to allow them to use American ammunition or NATO standard ammunition. The rpg7, many of the rpg7 variants that are coming out now, many of them are designed for very specific ammunition. The one that's made by Airtronics out of Texas will fire all standard rpg7 ammunition on the market. That includes some of the more obscure ones that are made by the Swedish. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it's important to know how to operate something like this before you put your hands on it. A lot of Americans are into gun safety, and they really think the rpg7 is cool, but they don't know how to operate it, and it is something that a lot of people might encounter, might end up having to work with, or might end up having somebody with some bad safety issues as far as an RPG goes. So, whatever your intent, I hope it's not to hurt people, but also, if it becomes absolutely necessary for you to use one, say you're in a foreign country, keep in mind that over 7 million of the rpg7 system have been created and manufactured. And there's a lot of ammunition for it. So as far as an American variant or version, the only real reason for it is because it'll last longer, and, well, because it's American. The materials that it's made out of are supposed to last longer. As far as getting one yourself, you're probably not going to need one, but since the United States and Airtronics are exporting Airtronics versions of the rpg7 to Sweden and through Sweden to Ukraine, there's a possibility that they might be ending up in other places too. Probably a lot more rare than an rpg7, but they don't have wooden furniture, so they're not gonna rot. Anyway, I'm gonna go in and get myself probably something to eat. I hate alfalfa. Tillamook, Oregon, folks. Anyway, I'll start posting up some videos in the comments down here. I don't figure it's anything most of y'all are going to need to know, but guaranteed, if you do need to know it, you need to know it. It'd be nice to have some information for inside or out, so provided as you have the ability to access the internet. Maybe be sitting in a foxhole in Iraq, or fucking around in the Donbass region of the Ukraine. Maybe you'll get deployed to a NATO unit, and you'll want to know what the hell you're doing when you get there. At least have more than just a knowledge of you point the thing at the enemy. There's a lot of stuff that the Ukrainians are able to do, and a lot of nations now that they know the trick. So they can actually make it a long-range mortar, like really long-range mortar. Um, One of the ways that they do that is to cut open a fire extinguisher or something just a little bit bigger than the rpg7 round on the inside, and they'll cut it in half, and then they fill it with rocks or chunks of nails or BBs or things of that nature, and they can hold it in place with wax. Does the same thing, it just is anti-personnel. So some of the stuff they're doing to those rounds, I'm going to be putting in the links here. One of them is the guy in Ukraine who's removing the rpg-22, the third arming device, basically, the self-destruct at 970 meters portion. And then they just put it back together, and hopefully you will never have to be familiar with the weapon systems, but better safe than sorry, right? With the growing tension in the world, the mounting tensions, the fact that you can get a AK-47 in America and a lot of different variants means that a lot of people here in America, if there's a conflict or an issue, people are going to get some first-hand, hands-on knowledge. A lot of people in America know how to use firearms. They will learn how to use them very quickly if we are invaded. Your neighbors will have no problems handing you a rifle, but most of your neighbors are not going to have access to an rpg-7. So if you ever get attacked by zombies in the United States of America, maybe if there's still internet and power and you can still charge up your iPhone or whatever, you'll be able to check this stuff out too. So good luck. Stay fucking fugly.